So I've just started here, and as I mentioned last time, I'm a passive aggressive bully, and there's lots of work to do here in the fourth and fifth fetters for sure. I'm on the first fetter, and I'm wondering if that's really true. And instead, I'm really in the second fetter of doubt. So I see through a lot of these games, a lot of the mind things. Like even when you were just doing this meditation right now, can you be here just as you are? In the sensations without the thinking. And there was a big no. Like, do not take my thinking away from me. And it's almost like, do not take my resentment away from me. Do not.
Yeah.
Like it is like violent. So, but it's being seen, right?
Yeah.
It's seen.
Yeah.
So I think my question, and what's interesting is I'm having body reactions. I'm breaking out in a rash, a very rich, itchy rash, and my knees hurting.
Yeah.
And those seem to be distractions. Like I've got to fix this before I can do anything else. And I don't know what it is, so I have to go to every doctor under the sun. So it's all being seen.
Yeah.
And so as far as the first fetter is concerned, I mean, I'm thinking I need to be absolutely perfect and unidentified with anything else, with anything before I can move on.
Yeah.
And yet at the same time, I'm going, well, I see through a lot of these games. Maybe I'm just in doubt. Can I work on doubt? Can you give me some feedback?
Oh my God. Yeah, there's so many things in what you're saying, and I love it so much. First of all, I would like to say welcome, and also thank you for your honesty and your openness right now. I really, really enjoy that. Thank you very much for that. There's so many things in what you're saying. The most important thing is that you felt in your body, you had that feeling of, do not take my resentment away. Do not take any of that away. And it's really important to acknowledge that, instead of then going up to your head and saying, but I want to become awake, but I should, and all of that. If you did that, you would be in the first fetter. We would be straight back to identification, that you think that you have agency. When you have that, do not take the resentment away. It's because it's important for you to have the resentment a bit longer. There's something about, in the second fetter, exactly, very, very well seen. There's something about the identification with the resentment. There's an old story, an underlying belief that you are diverting from with perfection. When you say that I need to, what was you said? I need to be perfect before I move on. What we have in one aspect, we have in all aspects. So when you say I need to be perfect, you can copy paste that into every single aspect of your life, your work life, your married life, your being a mom, being a friend, all of it. You need to be perfect. The food needs to be perfect. The experience needs to be perfect. Everything needs to be perfect before. I cannot move on until this is, I'm starting doing the dishes. I need to pee. I cannot pee until I have done the dishes. It's that delusion that you have of perfection, which is just, that alone is a lot of work on its own, just to stay with that and see it and going like, okay, Glenda, can you be in a body where things are not perfect? The dishes still needs to be done. I need to pee. There's a physical need that needs to be taken care of. So right now, you take little Glenda by your hand, and then you go and pee, and then you can go back and do the dishes afterwards. it's a bit the same. So every time you catch yourself in that need for perfection, really indulge yourself with compassion and love for the one that thinks that something exterior needs to be perfect until something interior can take place. That's a childhood trauma. That part is kind of indicating you where the issue is. It is lying in the second fetter, as you say. It is about something. It's about a diversion for something that's very, very primal, if we can say it like that. So
it feels like it is.
Yeah. It's also what I hear. Yeah, definitely. The other thing I would like to say that when we have that need for perfection, and also in that thought that you had, do not take my resentment away, there's a forcefulness in it. And that's the other thing I would like for you to, until next time we meet, I would like for you to look into. Again, you will find the clues in the second fetter material. So everything about the second fetter, all the lessons in the second fetter, you will find the clues to what I'm pointing at now. And it's about that forcefulness that is happening. It's twofold. The one thing is about the perfection. There's a forcefulness there, that you are not allowed to be sad or tired or angry or resentful or envious or any of those. You're not allowed to any of that. It needs to be in a different way. That's the one thing. The other thing is that if your resentment vanished right this moment, there are lots of insights underneath that you would not have had. When things are pointing to childhood trauma, like you say in the passive aggressive bully, that's about not having, you haven't experienced that your boundaries have been respected, which means that you have had a full life of crossing your boundaries, crossing other people's boundaries, and friendship have ended because you have crossed the boundaries they have felt, and you have felt that what they then responded with was crossing your boundaries, and it's been like a back and forth about boundaries your entire life. So something that's very, very important at the point you're at now is to really notice every single boundary you pick up on, and notice, where do I in my body right now feel that the boundary is? And that can be when you drink a glass of water. When have you had enough water? Is it when the glass is empty, or is it before the glass is empty, or are you a bit more thirsty? Because when we have issues about boundaries, we tend to not feel the body, but drinking a full glass of water or emptying the plate when we eat. If you always empty the plate when you eat, you have a boundary issue, because you cannot possibly know that you are as hungry as a plate. That's impossible. You will know when you eat when you're full, and then you stop eating. And sometimes it's before the plate is empty, and sometimes you need another, spoonful of food, and then you will be full before the plate is empty. So it's that really, really looking into your boundaries, because you will be pushing yourself. It's about feeling when you're tired and going to bed when you're tired. It's about seeking solitude when you are just peopled out and you just need to be left alone. It's about peeing when you need to pee. It's about all those things where you feel a physical experience of a boundary. That's what I would like for you to work with until next time. So, because that is like the key thing about the passive aggressive bully. It's about the boundaries. And I do think that what you said with do not take my resentment away, it's important. There's something underneath that need your attention and your love and compassion before you can let go of the resentment. Resentment is also tied into the boundary thing and also tied into the passive aggressive bully. So it fits perfectly. You might not experience exactly what it is that is letting go. It might just be that in the process where you notice your body experience of, oh, I'm still thirsty. I just had water. Let me just feel how it feels. I'm still thirsty. when you do those exercises, like, oh, I need to pee in the middle of when you're doing other stuff, it might be that just you doing that and noticing your boundaries, that you are meeting yourself with that presence and compassion and love and kindness. So the underlying traumas just dissolve themselves, because all they need, it's not all the old stories that we have about mom said that and dad did that and they didn't and all of that. That's just stories. It's not real at all. But the experience that we had in that moment and the labels and the stories we created out of that, that became real for us. And we have created a full life as if that was real. So in the moment when we have an experience where somebody's saying something and we feel so shameful, and we remember, oh my God, this is like when I was 5. What is important is to realize it's not about the story when you were 5. It's the resemblance of when you were 5 and now. So it's not important to look at the story when you were 5. It's important to feel into that resemblance that story is bringing up. It's the only reason why we have the memory of stories. It's not that they're true, they're just bringing to mind something that we can see, okay, right now, what is important right now that reminds me of then, that wasn't met with love and compassion then, that I now can meet with love and compassion. And that's how we heal in reverse. So it's not that the story about the childhood trauma is real or important. It's what it brings up in us right now and how we can heal ourselves right now with what we feel in our body, in our body right now. That's the only thing that's important. So for you, I would say really, really look into the boundaries. Notice about that. It's about being proper dressed when you go outside and it's cold. Having shoes on that, are bought for your feet, not for your looks. It's about, you know what I mean? It's like everything. Whenever you have a sensory experience of being cold or warm, you take clothes on, take clothes off. When you need to pee, you go to the bathroom. When you're tired, you sleep. If you have a tummy ache, you lie and rest. If you're peopled out, you withdraw yourself. It's really about whatever physical need you have, that you meet that. And it's a tall ask, and I don't expect you to have everything sorted when we meet next time, but it's just for you to look into what is happening when you do it, because you will have lots and lots and lots of thoughts and projections. But if I do that, then they will not like me. I can't just leave my family. I can't just go to bed at 8 o'clock in the afternoon. I can't just do any of that. I need to, all those projections that you make, write them down. Because,
yeah, everything you're saying is right on. And I don't even need other people. Like, I live alone here in my condo. And if I make my bed, or if I'm unloading the dishwasher or loading it, it's like this criticism. You have to do it properly. You can't. And there's always criticism, and there's nobody here to see anything.
no.
So it's all about boundaries.
Yes.
With myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really in many ways it's a gift to have a family around us, because we get provoked all the time. But it's equally a gift to live alone, because we really, really realize that all the arguments we have, with Janice at the job, or with Janice as a neighbor, or any of that could take place on a desert island. You could be utterly alone. And a lot of times when we live alone, we experience that. We have full-blown arguments in our mind with a person we have just created, as if that person is real. So a lot of times it's also a gift to realize, oh my goodness, who is criticizing who about the dishwasher?
Thank you.
Well done. Thank you so much. Thank you.